I guess I should just have some clever introduction, but instead I'm going to ask you to lick me, Melvin.
What accent is that meant to be?
It's my Penelope Cruz.
That's not Penelope Cruz, that's a bad South Park Jennifer Lopez.
Hola, hola! No.
I'm Jennifer Lopez!
I'm Jennifer Lopez, and I like tacos and burritos.
Ben Affleck!
And Ben Affleck. Although Ben Affleck left and he's doing better things in his life.
It's kind of funny because you do love Ben Affleck. Alright, on to the review.
Anyway, hey everyone, welcome to Off the Chest Podcast. That's what we're doing today. Today we're doing the spoiler review for The Counselor, starring Michael Fassbender, Penelope Cruz, Cameron Diaz, Javier Bardem, and Brad Pitt.
Javier.
You
went Javier.
Oh, sorry. I kind of had a in my voice then. Anyway, Javier Bardem. I'm Rakesh. Got Melvin. Melvin, say hello to the people.
Hello.
This is the film that is directed by Ridley Scott, written by Cormac McCaffrey. God damn it.
Cormac McCarthy.
God damn it.
He's a great book writer, mate. Come on, get his name right.
Says a lot about me. Anyway, Melvin, I'm going to let you take the reins on this one. So I want you to describe this film. I want you to do what I do every time. So give a basic synopsis for the film.
Alright. 4 friends. Sorry, not 4 friends. I fucked up in like 10 seconds. 3 friends actually help a drug lord run their... I think it's cocaine.
Yep, it's cocaine.
It's cocaine. Yep, run their cocaine through a route, and they pretty much take care of that. It's if it gets boosted or jumped in the route, it's on them.
Yep.
And all of a sudden, somebody jumps their cocaine. Now, one is a professional kind of, he's been doing this for a long time. Two of them have been doing this for a long time. That's Javier Bardem and Brad Pitt. Now, Javier Bardem, he's very showy. He's using all the money he's making off this, kind of helping what are they called? There's a word for this when, mafia, Mexican mafia? The cartel.
Yeah, cartel.
They're helping the cartel. I'm like, what the heck is the Mexican mafia called? Yeah, the cartel. He's helping the cartel, and he's been doing this for a long time, so he's made a lot of money, and he sets up a lot of businesses. He's been setting up nightclubs, restaurants. You see here his factories. You see his name on everything. His name is Reiner in the film, so you see Reiner Cafe, Reiner Dance Club. And then there's Brad Pitt's character. He just keeps all his money in equity, so it's pretty much all just cash flow in the bank, and he just spends it. He goes into hotels, he spends time with women, and now their third friend has just joined the operation, aka the counselor, aka Michael Fassbender.
And it's also in this film he has no actual name that's ever mentioned.
Yep.
He is only ever mentioned as the counselor.
Yep. Even his girlfriend Penelope Cruz does not say anything.
She never says his name, not once. Yep.
That's why it's called The Counselor. It's very well written, in a sense.
Subjectively.
Now, as you can imagine, as soon as the counselor, Michael Fassbender, joins this drug operation, the cartel's latest delivery gets boosted. Yep. It gets taken away, someone robs it, and all of a sudden, the way the cartel see it is that these 3 men are trying to rip them off, because it's $20 million worth of coke.
Yep.
And they're like, holy shit, these 3 guys are ripping us off. They're dead to us.
Yeah.
Now, all of a sudden, Michael Fassbender starts to lose his shit. He's trying to protect his girlfriend, Penelope Cruz. Javier Bardem is having a hard time deciding what to do with his girlfriend, Cameron Diaz, who's actually also his sort of accountant of sorts. She deals with how he uses his money in a sense. Yeah. And Brad Pitt, he's the safe guy. He knew this day would come for a long time, and he's already planning his getaway.
Yeah, he's planning his getaway.
And bam, the film takes off.
Yeah.
Now, the journey does mainly follow the counselor and how he visits various people to try and get help, and how he hears their ideologies on how to get out of trouble or how to just confront it. And that's what the general film's about. It's all based on different people's ideology of the situations they're in.
Yeah.
And do I say the ending?
Yeah, this is a spoiler review, guys.
Spoiler review, okay. So at the ending, now, Javier Bardem's character, he preaches that people make decisions really late. People just need to see what's in front of them, make decisions, and go. And oddly enough, he makes his decision too late, gets caught by the cartel.
Yeah.
Now, Brad Pitt preaches safeness. He preaches having equity, being able to detach yourself from things immediately.
Yeah.
Now, he detaches himself, but he gets tracked down by who? In a second. Now, Michael Fassbender, he says he's ready for this. He's up for this. But when cut comes to slash and
Yeah.
he is not ready. He freaks out the most.
Yeah.
Penelope Cruz is his girlfriend and an innocent bystander. And Cameron Diaz has told Javier Bardem, now that she knows that the cartel is after him, that I am leaving you. She says, when they come with an axe to your door, I will be gone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now, the big twist is that Cameron Diaz's character actually is the one who boosted all of the cocaine. Well, she tried to. The cartel took it back. But she was the one that attempted to boost it all. Now, Javier Bardem gets taken out. She just walks away. Now, she's actually the one that takes out Brad Pitt. She hires him and takes out Brad Pitt, and she steals all his equity. Now, Michael Fassbender's girlfriend gets captured by the cartel, and they make a snuff film of her. Now, for those of you who don't know what a snuff film is, because it sounds all cuddly and cute, it's a film of someone getting murdered.
And it's no special effect. This is realistic.
And it's technically sold to people that want to buy it. It's just an underground thing.
It's an underground thing, and it's also important to mention is that one of the interactions that Javier Bardem and this happens between all three characters. This is one thing I love. All three of these guys, what they preach is actually their downfall.
Yeah.
And
they're all hypocrites.
Yep. And so, what's his Brad Pitt, he preaches, the equity and being detached from everyone and everything.
And playing it safe.
Yeah, and playing it safe. However, he has a fondness for women, as all guys do. And, it's through that he becomes attached to the woman and she's able to get information.
Cameron Diaz sends a girl after him.
Yep. Natalie Dormer.
Yeah.
Yep.
And in a sense, it's a little less hypocritical because he does know his own weakness. So he knows what his flaws are, but he still gives in. But because it's a flaw, he can't change that to himself. But it's still a little hypocritical. With Michael Fassbender, he's constantly asked, "Are you ready for this? Are you ready for this?" And when push comes to shove, he isn't.
Yeah, yeah. It's because the situation doesn't play out to so many of their expectations. Now, I just want to quickly mention about this film. This film is getting a lot of negative press. However, I love the dialogue in this film. I absolutely love the dialogue. There's an opening scene where Javier Bardem and Cameron Diaz, they're watching their jaguars or cougars or cheetahs or whatever it is.
Yeah, whatever they are.
They're hunting things, and there's this amazing. It's a quick monologue that's done by Cameron Diaz, and it's just about something like never looking into the past.
Yep.
And I was just like, oh my god, this is for me. I've never seen Cameron Diaz act in this way because I've only ever seen her do like comedy shit.
I've seen her do a couple of serious things, but
and
nothing
so
good.
For me to see her in this, I was taken away. I was like, holy crap, she is good.
From all the serious cinema she has done, this is the first time she's actually played a slightly intelligent character.
Yeah, it's like
she's no longer playing the dumb blonde bimbo.
Exactly, and that's the thing as well, is when you look at these characters, you think, oh, dumb blonde bimbo.
Surprisingly, I would say maybe Penelope Cruz takes that character.
Yes, she does. And I also really love Javier Bardem in this. Another great actor.
My boy.
Yeah, your boy. But most of all, I love me my Michael Fassbender, however you want to say his name. But Javier Bardem, he actually describes all the various scenarios of how murder can occur. He talks about this wire cutter that cuts the neck off, and Brad Pitt is the one who gets hit with the wire cutter. He talks about the snuff film. That's how he gets taken. That's how Penelope Cruz gets taken.
Michael Fassbender gets affected.
Yeah, and
he just generally says they'll come after you, which is how he got taken.
Yeah, he basically for this, the way that Michael Fassbender is taken down is psychologically. They break him mentally, and so he knows that impending doom is on his heart.
Yeah.
Side. Melvin, you go on with this now, and
okay, kind of lost me there. What else is there to say? Now look, the screenplay is written by Cormac McCarthy. Now Cormac McCarthy is a great novelist. You might remember the last film. Well, sorry, the second last book he wrote was No Country for Old Men, which was turned into a screenplay, and that won 1 million Oscars. Javier Bardem won his supporting actor award for that. It won, I'm pretty sure, Best Picture. Tommy Lee Jones was nominated for that as well, and it was turned into a screenplay by the Coen brothers, who are renowned filmmakers, you know, for No Country for Old Men, True Grit, for films like that. So they know that kind of old Western era really well. Then Cormac McCarthy wrote The Road, which I don't know many of you have seen, but I know a lot of people have heard of. It's about Viggo Mortensen and his son traveling to the edge of the world.
Yep.
Because, you know, the world's been taken over by some kind of virus.
Yep.
So he wrote an apocalyptic book as well.
That was adapted into the video game The Last of Us as well.
Oh, really?
Yep.
Yeah, so he wrote, that was his last novel he wrote, and that was adapted into a screenplay by someone else. This is the first time he's written a screenplay.
Yeah, it's been a movie as well, yeah.
And it got turned into a film straight away. And the most brilliant thing, I reckon, is that every screenplay is made with a 3-act structure. It's introduction, climax, middle, climax, end, climax. That's how you write a screenplay. And the most brilliant thing about him is that he does not know how to write a screenplay. He just wrote a story. No. The truth is, it has extendedly long dialogue monologues, and that's not something you put in a film. That's something actors love to have because it gets to show your acting ability, your ability to deliver dialogue, to have, like, you know, draw intenseness in a scene. That's why actors love that. But for good flow, in a sense of, you know, quick, snippy, keeping the audience's attention, it doesn't work. Now, when me and Rakesh watched this film, it was pretty much me, him, and a bunch of seniors. I'm not gonna lie. Because, you know, they're the ones that are interested in the sense of this film.
I wouldn't even say... I would say that the seniors that were there...
Oh, they were like 40. They weren't seniors.
Oh, no, the people in front of us were senior.
Oh, yeah. There were 2 guys behind us around our age as well.
Yeah.
But the great thing about this film is it talks about everyone's philosophy on life.
Yes.
There's this Mexican man, I actually can't remember his name, but Michael Fassbender's character goes to him for help, and he gives him his rundown on death and how he looks at it, and how Michael Fassbender should embrace it. Brad Pitt deals with his entire philosophy on how he's been making money, on the fact that he could go away from this money and just be a eunuch for all he fucking cared. And what's his name? Javier Bardem talks about how, you know, how lavish his lifestyle is, how, you know, you should have got into this earlier and, you know, you would have been a bit more secure. And everyone's ideologies, they tell you, they explain it. Usually, you know, you have to read into something a lot. Here, they flat out tell you. They talk like normal human beings. You know when you're lecturing someone else on something? It's as simple as that.
Yep.
And that's all I can say. I mean, you have to really soak in each philosophy that every character gives out. If you can't relate, or if you can't soak in, if you don't understand it, because some of them do talk a little fuzzy, well, then that's just your loss.
Yeah.
I honestly don't think that any normal cinema goer should watch this. You need to know what it's about.
Yeah.
You need to know what you're in for, and I think that's what takes it down.
Not only do you have to be into that, but you need to be the type of person who embraces a different contrast of film.
Yes.
You cannot be the person who only watches the big budget summer films, because this came out recently, and you know, obviously you have movies like Thor and whatever the crap that is, and this reminds me of an art house film, because it is so different. It totally, like, you're expecting one thing when you see the trailer. However, when I saw the teaser, I had no idea what this film was about, and I love that. I love that I've only ever saw a teaser for this. I had no idea what it was about, and the film, it never spoon feeds the audience. No. Every film, I feel like a lot of films, I'm not going to say every film, a lot of films today, especially this year, they always spoon feed the audience. Like, it's usually done at the halfway mark, where they go, all right, now this is what we've always been talking about from the beginning of the film. This is what we've been talking about.
Or they have a large introductory scene.
Yeah.
Where they display the world and how it works around them.
Or even at the end, the ending monologues that people usually have, where they explain everything and they show how this all came together. This film never does that. It never does flashback. It never goes, all right, let's talk about how this happened, why this happened. No, it all takes place relative to real time, and it's all explained in real time.
Slight flashback with Javier Bardem and his girlfriend.
That was a useless scene.
I actually think there's a use for that scene.
Apart from getting me a hard dick.
Okay, so Cameron Diaz fucks Javier Bardem's car at one point, and Javier Bardem is explaining this to Michael Fassbender. And afterwards, Michael Fassbender, And Javier Bardem thinks, what do you think of that? And Michael Fassbender's like, that's weird. And Javier Bardem's like, yes, right? I know, right? But then Michael Fassbender says, do you think she knows what kind of effect it would have on you? Which goes to show the sinisterness of her character from the beginning. That she wanted him to know that she is a power woman and that she does control him in a sense. And that she is capable of greater evil.
There's actually a great part where one of the scenes between Javier Bardem and Michael Fassbender is Javier Bardem himself is actually saying, Cameron Diaz, she's smart.
Yeah, she scares the fuck out of me.
She scares the fuck out of him, and he knows that she's probably going to be his downfall. He doesn't know how, but he knows that it's going to happen. And
you can see Michael Fassbender doesn't trust her straight away, but he doesn't use his gut at all.
Yeah. Ratings time? Or is there anything else you really want to say about this film? We got time.
We have to mention Ridley Scott.
Yeah, Ridley Scott.
I mean, think about the man that made Gladiator, some other great films. He made Prometheus last year. This is his first time taking on a heavy drama film.
And
how do you feel about that? It's very individual.
I like his interpretation. However, this is a very sexualized film.
Yes.
Very sexualized film. I mean, the first scene is about Michael Fassbender going down on Penelope Cruz.
Yeah, and asking her to talk dirty.
Yeah, it's all about talking dirty. I never expected this from Ridley Scott.
I didn't. I was surprised he went for something so... Here's the thing, first of all, it's not a very commercial film.
No, it isn't.
And I expected this from actors, everyone except for Cameron Diaz, I thought was going to be in this film was like, wow, I'm surprised Cameron Diaz is doing such a film that isn't commercial at all. And another reason I felt like it didn't do too well in the ratings is the people that went to see this film, they saw, oh my God, Brad Pitt.
Yeah.
Oh my God, Magneto,
Yeah.
Oh my God, the last Bond villain.
Yeah.
Penelope Cruz, his wife's in the film with him.
Sylvia.
Yeah, and they're husband and wife. So it's like, oh my God, they're doing a film together. And then Cameron Diaz, you expect some kind of fluffy crap.
Yeah.
If you didn't check out anything previously, if you didn't know Cormac McCarthy's work, if you don't know that Ridley Scott is willing to take chances,
Yeah, for sure, man.
And I feel as though it's the cast that is the reason why this film gets such negativity. If you put some nobodies in there and you played out this film, it would be perceived well. It would be like, wow, this is really different. This is really unique. I'm glad I saw this. It's a great art house film. But because of the cast and the dickheads that went to watch it, and it's like, I want to see Brad Pitt. Yeah. The same thing happened with Killing Me Softly.
Yeah.
Which is actually my favorite film of last year. Brad Pitt made I think it was like a $20 to $30 million film. He made it. And it only had him. He came in half an hour after it began. And people were like, what the fuck? I don't want to see this.
Mm.
And I feel it's the cast that let it down overall. Yeah.
Well,
ratings-wise, I loved it.
Hold on, but before you get onto that, I just want to quickly mention this was apparently went into 2 film festivals beforehand. Mm. I think maybe a third as well. But I just want to quickly do box office and budget. So the budget for this film was $25 million.
Yeah, that's low as fuck.
It's a very low one, and
considering 5 huge stars.
Yeah, and so far the box office is $23 million for it.
So we'll at least we'll break even.
It'll break even. So yeah, ratings time. You guys, you know how we do it, from 0 being the worst to 10 being the best. Melvin, why don't you give this?
You go first.
No, you go first.
No.
Shut up.
Doesn't matter.
Shut up.
It's my film.
Oh, god damn it. Alright, I'm going to go 9 out of 10. I really do like this film. Don't get me wrong. The reason I don't go up to a 10...
Or 9.5.
Or 9.5 is... I'm just trying to find the way to say this is... It lacks a certain finesse for me. Don't get me wrong, I am gonna re-watch this movie. I definitely am. I love the dialogue alone is a 10 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, easily.
The interactions between each other is a 10 out of 10. Like, especially Fassbender and Javier Bardem. They really bring it, those two. They really do sell the film. However, there's a few scenes with what's her name? Cameron Diaz, where you actually see her on the phone with the guys at the beginning of the film.
You can hear her voice.
Yeah, and just I knew something was going to happen with her. I did not know to what extent.
Yeah, we didn't know her end game.
Yeah,
which she actually adjusted herself.
Yeah, and there's just a few things where I was just like, wow, this is really catching me off guard. I don't know how I feel about this. Yeah, even though I feel this is really spectacular, I just don't want to go 10 only because this is the first of this type of film I've ever seen. I've never seen a film like this, so I just don't want to take a big of a risk and go full 10 out of 10. However, 9 out of 10. I really recommend this for anyone who is definitely looking to take a new turn in the cinema.
Yep.
Definitely, yeah.
Now, I'm going to give it a 10 out of 10, and I'm happy you said what you said.
Yeah.
Because I'm going to give it a 10 for the same reason you're not giving it a 10.
Yeah.
I'm giving this a 10 because, okay, even though Anjo and Tim aren't here, between you, Anjo, and Tim, even all of you combined, I've probably seen more cinema.
Yeah.
There was a point where I was watching 2 movies a day. So, the fact is that this film took me by surprise in the way that it's written, directed, and just the fact that the overall cast did it.
Yeah.
And that is so refreshing. I've seen thousands upon thousands of films, and I'll be honest, I saw the trailer to this film, I saw the teaser. It seemed like the counselor was going to be in some sort of trouble. Predictable, it was. But it seemed sort of action-packed in the sense that, he'd kind of take over, and I felt like I could read the plot in some way. I fucking couldn't when I walked in. I knew one thing that was definitely going to happen, but I even got I knew who Brad Pitt was going to die, but I got the fucking killer wrong. That's the thing. I was way off with the fucking killer. And it just took me by surprise so fucking well that I loved it. Now, I'm giving it a 10, but I'm going to mention some slight downfalls.
Well, for all means, I mean, like, the whole reason of you being able to give it a 10 and also point out,
some
like, negatives
to
it, it's like reiterating the fact of how brilliant this is to your perception of it. I mean, I don't want to derail for too long. I just want to quickly mention is like last year I gave Dark Knight Rises a 10 out of 10, and like I had to kind of recognize some flaws in it and say to other people, all right, I see how you see flaws.
Yes.
But this is why I believe it isn't a flaw, or this is why I believe for me and me personally, this perspective that it's doing is good. It's really great. That's right. Yeah, go on.
Now, there was a certain scene with Michael Fassbender in his car where he's crying that I actually didn't like the acting. I know, it's Fassbender. This is his next film after Prometheus with Ridley Scott.
This is the one where he's on the phone with Hefe.
Yeah, and it was, he just didn't draw me in as he usually does. Michael Fassbender usually has this great power over all of us. He wasn't entirely capturing me in this film. Brad Pitt, phenomenal. Javier Bardem, excellent as always. But that's because, you don't see too much of him, plus he's already Mexican, so he's in the right setting. But yeah, I didn't like the acting entirely. Now, the other thing was, we could clearly tell Cameron Diaz was evil. I like the fact that they gave it away, but I might have liked some holdback on that as well. Just a bit more of a twist in a sense.
I felt like it was, because we never fully understood the scope or the magnitude to how corrupt or evil she was, because there was a scene where she was at the cafe with Natalie Dormer in London, where they were both in London, and Natalie Dormer's like, oh, so what are you going to do with this guy? And she's like, honey, please, sweetheart, please. It's like, I'm going to fucking kill this guy.
Yeah.
And it's how ruthless and how, like, you're like, whoa.
No, that to me I understood.
No, but I'm saying, like, that's the way that it kind of caught you off guard with Cameron Diaz.
Yeah, like I see what you mean. Like to the extent of her evil. But for me, as soon as I figured out that she was taking the cocaine, it's like she knows what's in store for them.
Yeah.
So she's pretty much sending them to their death in the first place. There's actually a great. You didn't actually get Cormac McCarthy's entire screenplay. At the end, Cameron Diaz was meant to say that she actually is having Javier Bardem's baby, and the fact that she was telling her accountant that she's only keeping the baby because it's a boy. If it was a girl, she would have aborted it. That is how ruthless Cameron Diaz's character is. But overall, brilliant story.
Yeah.
Oh, really? No, there were a few other things held back, but really nothing else was as much important.
Yeah.
I would say.
I mean, it was more like also like when
one speech was cut though.
Yeah. Also, I just thought of this now, but her opening monologue, Cameron Diaz's. Do you think that kind of it? When I go back and when I rewatch this, I'm gonna rewatch that opening monologue because I love that, and it kind of gives you that idea of how ruthless she is. Because at the beginning of the film, she goes, "I never look back on anything, on any downfall, because if people die, people die. That's just the way it is. And for people to get positioned to where they want to go, you need to make acts quick enough."
Yeah, but I actually believe she's a bit of a hypocrite in a sense as well. because she goes on to say, you know, you remind me of a man I used to know. And I believe she's actually referring to the fact that he is going to die because she's going to, you know, steal the cocaine.
Yeah.
I believe that's what she's talking about. And later on, if you read the entire screenplay is meant to say she's having his son. So in a sense, she's going to remember him for fucking the rest of his life because that's his dad.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's the way her character is hypocritical as well.
Yeah. Well, overall, I give it a 9 out of 10. Melvin gives it a 10 out of 10. This is the first time I've ever seen Melvin give a 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
And stick with a 10 out of 10. We walked out of this film, he was like, 10 out of 10. I was like, Melvin said 10 out of 10 coming out of a cinema before, but he's never like...
Stick to it.
Yeah, stuck to it. So I am really shocked. YouTube.com/Off the Chest Podcast. Check out our YouTube page as well. No, not our YouTube, our Facebook page.
Facebook page.
Go on to Facebook, go onto the search, type in Off the Chest Podcast, hit the like, because guess what? We have a whole bunch of content there. But for now, that's all, folks. Good day.
Arrivederci.